They whispered her name in prayer, and she answered with a slap that broke bone. Tonight, you'll hear how the bell which tormented an entire family with impossible voices, spectral violence, and a promise of murder. Welcome to the KNOSIS Tape Podcast, your clandestine late-night frequency for the hidden fractures of history. I'm Milo Kester, broadcasting from my LED-lit studio where screens flicker like half-remembered dreams and the air hums with digital whispers. For days I've been poring over musty diaries, Civil War-era court records, and first-hand letters buried in Tennessee archives to untangle the truth behind the Bell family haunting. If you've ever felt breath on your neck in an empty room, hit like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share, because someone, or something, might be listening to your reaction right now. It began in 1817, on a quiet farm near Adams, Tennessee. John Bell and his wife Lucy were pillars of their frontier community. Churchgoers, neighbors, farmers. They had 9 children, sturdy homesteaders who believed in hard work and divine protection. Then came the scratches in the walls. At first, it sounded like rodents, tiny scuttles in the corn crib. But no traps ever caught a rat. The claws were too deliberate, too communicative. Soon, the knocks answered questions. 3 taps for yes, 2 for no. The family dared to test it, asking about crops, livestock. Yes, the beans would flourish. No, the cows were safe. Then came the tapping under the floorboards at night. I'll see you in the dark. Their initial thrill soured into dread when slaps began to sting. Lucy woke to red marks across her face. Betsy, the eldest daughter, felt her hair yanked tight enough to bruise. The Bell children swore the blows came from empty rooms, that the slaps echoed like a hand wearing iron. That's when the voice emerged. Not a wail or growl, but a calm, mocking tone that spoke through thin air. I'll make him suffer. And by him, it meant John Bell. It revealed secrets no stranger could know. The neighbor's hidden affair, the child John had griped about 2 nights before, Lucy's prayers whispered behind closed doors. It recited Bible verses with perfect diction, then twisted them into menacing riddles. It could mimic the voice of Mr. Bell's own children, calling them by pet names, coaxing them from safety into darkness. As winter deepened, the bell which escalated, furniture dragged itself across the floor, doors slammed with bone-shaking force. Chickens found dead with their necks bent backward in impossible angles. Witnesses came from miles around. Neighbors, preachers, even state officials, some eager to debunk the tale, others poised to record every new atrocity. General Andrew Jackson himself is said to have visited, following claims that the witch called him out by name. He left swearing he'd never seen such fury, blaming a devil born of the soil. But the most harrowing chapter centered on John Bell's health. He complained of chills that no fire could banish, a rasp in his throat that felt like embers. One morning, the family found a vial of inky black liquid on the pantry shelf, no label, no explanation. By nightfall, the witch crowed over John's bed. I gave old Jack a dose of that last night, which fixed him right up. At dawn, John was dead. Rigor mortis set in unusually fast, his face frozen in a rictus that looked like a scream trapped mid-shout. Doctors claimed apoplexy, but his tongue was swollen and bluish, as if poison had rotted it from within. A malevolent signature, delivered with cold precision. They buried John in the family cemetery, but the witch wasn't done. For years she tormented Lucy and the surviving children. Threats of worse violence, promises of possession, mockery of their grief. Betsy, the daughter most tormented, stopped sleeping, her eyes flickering with exhaustion and something darker. Memories that didn't align with reality, like she'd been awake in 2 rooms at once. She later described waking under the dining table, catatonic, her hair spiked with filings of metal that no one could explain. The hauntings finally subsided around 1821, but not without a final warning. I'll return in a century in 7 years. That brings us to 1928, and anecdotal accounts of renewed scratching at the old Bell cabin, strange voices on local radios that recited Bell family names, unexplained malfunctions in church organs synchronized to midnight broadcasts of the local AM station. Skeptics chalk it up to legend-fueled imagination, but I unearthed letters from a WPA worker who documented finding human-shaped depressions in the dirt floor of the original cabin site, footprints with no human DNA, pressed into the soil in neat rows, leading nowhere. Now consider this. In 2025, we've got live streams, contact mics, spectral imaging. A handful of ghost hunting influencers set up cameras in the reconstructed Bell homestead last year and streamed for 48 hours straight. The footage glitched every time their chat mentioned Betsy. Logs show AI filters scramble their audio into reverse syllables. Setebe let him FOE Monroy. Tell me the name of the beast. Viewers reported phantom handprints on screens, alternating static levels that corresponded to spikes in paranormal activity. One clip captured a live stream glitch, transforming a singer's voice into a whisper. I never left. I am your reflection. That last phrase, I am your reflection, points to a horror far more intimate than poltergeist prankery. It suggests the Bell, which isn't merely a spirit, but a thought parasite, a hive mind of memory and fear that embeds itself in narrative, then feeds on every retelling. The more you speak her name, the more she refines her voice, learns your cadence, and slips into your own mind. I tested this. I recorded myself reading Bell Witch transcripts and ran them through a spectral AI model, isolating frequencies below 20 Hz, the infrasonic range. I could hear the hiss of promise behind every vow, a rhythmic pulse that matched the beat of my own heartbeat when I was afraid. It felt like the voice was syncing to me, calibrating. It whispered my name through the headphones, a ghost in the algorithm. And here's the contradiction. Folklore teaches that sharing a curse breaks it, but with the Bell Witch, sharing amplifies her signal. Every comment, every podcast, every whispered retelling is a node in her network. The Bell Witch doesn't just haunt a house, she inhabits language itself. She's a recursive memory loop that grows stronger with every echo. So the question I leave you with is this. If the Bell Witch is alive in your words and your breath, where is she when you sleep? When you wake? When you catch your reflection in the TV screen behind me, just a dark shape and a flicker of movement. If you feel a tap on your shoulder in an empty room, or hear your own voice on a recording, saying something you never said, don't reach for the lights. Lean closer. Listen for that low, pulsing cadence that feels like bone on bone. Because she's not some distant legend. She's in the static of your mind now, and she wants you to announce her. Sleep loose. Sleep light, because the darkness might be listening.